Peaceful protest. Yeah, we that's good to hear. Honestly, I don't want to get much on this because this is a tech site, but what's been happening in the world is kind of sad lately. We've been going through a lot, and with the George Floyd case, it just makes it even worse. But I think the biggest thing we do have to remember is just stand up for one another and be there for our neighbors. That's all I really want to say. So. I'm not seeing I don't think he's getting my tags. I know I tagged him, so he's got to get it. Okay. Okay, I think he's on there now. Let me just share this too for everybody. Get some more people in. Feel free to talk amongst each other. We're about to get going right now. Just let me get a couple more tags in. And if everybody can do me a favor, hit the like button, please. San Diego just had a violent protest last night in La Mesa. Oh, that sucks, man. Yeah, I don't agree with the looting. I do understand it, even though there's a lot of different stories going on with that. So, okay, I think we got some people. I'm going to go ahead and get going. Let me go ahead and change the scenes. Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? You guys should be seeing me soon. There's a delay too, probably about, I would say, 10 seconds. So, it happens is how, all the internet and stuff process. So if you don't see me immediately, it should be coming up. So you should be seeing my face about now. I can see your text before I can, before you guys can even react to the video. So I am sorry for that, but we are getting going. How's everybody doing today on this great Sunday morning? God bless everybody. How you guys doing? So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Keyse. This is actually a channel that I've started years and years ago and just kind of like quit doing stuff. So, definitely I wanted to start doing stuff back again. I've been planning a lot of this stuff for a while now with being locked down from the COVID and then my own personal issues and stuff like that. So I've been doing a lot of stuff lately, trying to get stuff up, trying to buy equipment, and here I am. So I'll just give a little detail real quick about the Keyse review. So the Keyse review is basically a site. Is going to be a tech site on Facebook, and hopefully I can expand that. I will be going on to YouTube. I just set up the YouTube channel last night, and I gotta wait a day to stream live on that, so that might limit a lot of viewers, at least for this video. But hopefully by the next time I do another live stream, maybe I'm gonna try to plan one later this week and get some guests on here. We can do more things with it. So I want this to be a page for everybody can come. You can ask questions and we can share stuff too. So don't be afraid to talk amongst one another. This is a community page, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. So we are going to start today with one of my favorite things to talk about, and that is gaming. For everybody that know me, I'm a huge gamer, and I guess you can call me a fanboy in the fact that I pretty much just buy PlayStations. So the biggest thing I wanted to talk about today is the PlayStation. We are in a period where we will be showing the unveiling. I've been writing an article for a couple days, and after the article, I'm about to drop it probably tonight. It's kind of long, so it is a long read, but it's basically about what I envision some of the stuff for the PlayStation to be. I did one a few years ago about what we can look towards in the future, and then I'm basically comparing the two of the article I wrote back then versus the article I wrote recently about some of the stuff that I thought that was going to be. So let me go change the scenes. So let me get to the right page right here. So you guys should be seeing that right now. And actually, let me go. I'm gonna transfer the chat to my laptop, to my Surface here. Give me a minute. Getting it set up, you go through all the growing pains like, oh, I forgot how to do this. Let me mute that. Okay, so then I can see your text now, guys. I got 3 screens going just for this event, so cool. Okay, so everybody should be seeing that right now. Oh, God bless you too, Kevin. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love, man. God bless you too. So anyway, here's the article I wrote earlier, and stuff about the PlayStation. So, one thing which I really didn't have much weight on, and I'm glad I didn't, because I would never want to see this, honestly, is that, the next PlayStation will be software only, meaning that it will be like a streaming service like Steam and stuff like that. So I'm so happy that's not happening. I think if anything with this generation proved that gaming systems are officially here to stay. I mean, you have, obviously you have the PlayStation, you have the Xbox One, which did a lot of stuff, was big with TV and stuff like that, and then you have this Nintendo Switch, which was different to the point where you have a home console that can be converted to a portable console. So I think with those 3 together shows that the death of gaming systems did not die out with the advent of the cell phones or the powerful PCs that everybody's building today. PlayStation sold, I believe they are at 110 million units worldwide just on the PlayStation 4 alone. It is the 2nd best-selling system as far as gaming consoles concerned, and if you look overall with portable, it's the 4th. So yeah, Sony's doing their thing, and usually they keep on a 10-year schedule with their game systems. So yeah, there's a lot more to be sold. It could possibly even outsell the PS2, which is the top. It's #1 as far as no matter what gaming platform you're on. That doesn't include cell phones and PCs that you can get, basically. So I'm glad that this didn't happen. I know Microsoft's kind of going this route. They're having the Game Pass, so they have that available within the Xbox One, the PC, and what's going to be the Xbox Series X and possibly S, what we hope to find out in July. And I'm going to start covering that too. So yeah. So we're going to be definitely got some exciting times going on, especially with the COVID stuff happening, especially with, everybody know I'm a huge Lakers fan, so Kobe happened, and now we got, the injustices that's been happening recently and stuff like that. So, definitely some good news to come from this year, because this year has been hell, honestly. And then, for my friends that know, a lot of stuff happened to me health-wise this year, and I'm happy to be here. So going on. I'm saying that this is going to be a very powerful system. The PlayStation 5 is definitely going to be a very, very powerful system. And then in the article, and I'll pull it up right now. Where did it go? There it go. So basically, I posted, or actually let's go back to that other article real quick, because I posted some stuff about what I think it's going to be. So let's look at what I wrote in the past. So Sony has always put like certain stuff out on their system that makes it, even if it wasn't the most powerful system, they always had something extra, like an extra processor or something like that. So I highly expected everything, to be a lot more powerful. And Sony is really delivering, and we still don't know 100% of what's going to happen. So I know a lot of people was asking me about let them know about some new news. So I just found out this morning, well, I don't know if it's official, it's just a rumor. So the controller, the DualSense that they just unveiled, I'm hearing rumors, I'm not saying it's true, so don't, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, that the touchpad is actually going to be a touch screen. So in my article, I think I wrote that closer to the bottom about, having a touchscreen, because I put the Sega VMU. One thing I really loved about the Dreamcast system is that it had this little VMU. If you know what the VMU is, the VMU was really mainly a memory card, but it has a screen on it where you can play kind of like little, remember the Tamagotchi games back in the days everybody used to play? For those of you that's born in the 80s and 90s, we used to have the little Tamagotchis and the little, what's the other thing? The Digimon. machines that we used to play. It was like you kept it in a pocket and a keychain. So that's what the VM did. And then the cool thing about the VM is that you was able to go ahead and play like these little mini games and transfer them back to the system to unlock extra stuff. Sony's not going to go that far, but if they did have a screen, I mean, I basically said it here, I will honestly freak out, but I don't really think that's going to be the case, honestly. But if Sony did unveil that, and we know they got a presser this Thursday on the 4th at 1 o'clock, which I will be covering too. So if that is true, I am going to really freak out, because this is one of the features I've really, really, really wanted, because on stuff, especially like 2K and stuff like that, where you want to call shots or, do different plays and stuff like that, and you don't want it to be pulling up on the screen, which is, I mean, it's kind of hard when you're in the heat of the moment anyway, to try to peer over to somebody's screen, peer over on what buttons they pressing basically, but to have it on the screen and the call plays on the screen itself, I mean, oh my God, that would be just, game changing. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen, because that will put the controller probably in $100 plus mark. But if it did, I mean, $100, I would not care at all. Money's money. You can't die with money. So, the best thing we can do, especially after this time, is enjoy ourselves. So, so be it. But that is what the rumor I've heard about that. Take it with a grain of salt. We don't know that for sure. I just heard it this morning. I'm still trying to get some sources on it. So, but if it is true, we should know about it by Thursday anyway, because Sony already announced it. It's official. As you can see, my screenshot that I have right here is that they will have the event. And you can see the DualSense controller right here. So I don't know if they really got it. It doesn't look like it from the pictures, because if we actually look at the pictures of DualSense, it's kind of like white. So I'm not sure how true that is, but then again, it could be Sony covering up something too. Maybe they put a white overlay on it or a white cover on it, and it's covering up the screen that's under it. We don't know, but I don't know if that's likely. That's just a rumor. I'm probably going to lean on the error caution that it's not going to have it, but if it did, I will be highly, highly excited. But anyway, going back to the article here and talking about how it's going to be more powerful. So a few things I put on there is that I wanted it to have stuff like SLI, Crossfire. So for those of you guys that will know, oh, hold on, I'm catching up. I'm sorry, I got to look at screens and they're all across like my way. So Kevin, I'm not saying the controller's going to be $100, but if it does have like an OLED in it, OLEDs are not cheap to manufacture. So I think even for the smaller screens, I mean, you're probably looking about a good $20 alone just in manufacturing cost. So I think, like I said, I don't think it's going to have a screen on it. I think it's just going to be a touchpad. It's going to be, I would say, about $60-$70 for the controller, which is about, I think the current controllers are going for $65 brand new without the sales, so that will be in line. But who knows, Sony is great with their hardware and pricing and stuff like that, and to me, they always delivered, man. I mean, ever since the PlayStation 1, because before, I would say, the PlayStation came out, I used to play a lot of Super NES and Super NES and Genesis. And I think I got if I remember correctly, I got the PlayStation 1 for my birthday present. So my grandmother was like, choose which one you want. And, ideally you should choose the Nintendo, because that's what was out. That's what was popular, is the best game system out, But I looked at the PlayStation. I was like, you know what? It has that CD drive on it, and it looks like it do a lot more, so let me get the PlayStation. So I ended up choosing the PlayStation over the Nintendo 64 at the time. And do I never regret that decision a day in my life? I mean, Sony has always did something with their game systems, So, and this is why I start, writing some of these articles. So I basically put that they'll have an 8-core chip in it, which is true. So they're going to manufacture with AMD. And sorry if I get a little technical. Let me know if you guys need stuff explained. But yeah, 8-core processor, that's definitely happened. So I guess that one right. SLI Crossfire. So what that technology was, is basically if you coming from the PC world, especially from gaming or from the professional standpoint, SLI and Crossfire basically allows you to pair up 2 or more graphic processors in order to get more power into the system for the potential to give you better graphics or physics or so forth. SLI and Crossfire is pretty much just about dead now. You rarely hear from it. Usually people only put in one graphics card in there now because graphic cards are very powerful. So we won't see Crossfire or nothing like that in any consoles from here on out, I don't think. Because the technology just advanced so far from the 3 years ago that I'm reading this article from. I also said it's going to have 32 gigabytes of RAM. It is not. It's going to only have 16, but there's an asterisk with that, which I will get to in a minute, and explain it a little bit easier. So of course hard drive slot. So hard drive and SATA Express I put in there. Kind of is going to have the SSD, which is going to relate to that RAM issue that I'm about to throw there in a minute. Blu-ray XL, which is also known as UMD Blu-ray. It will have it. So we will have 100 gigabyte disc for the medium still. So we will definitely have that. I also wrote that I was looking at having a place 2 different SKU PlayStations and stuff like that. So I do think we are going to have 2 SKUs. If that's going to be available during the launch is yet to be seen. We don't know. We will hopefully know on the 4th. It's a possibility we might not see the system on Thursday, but I think if I'm a betting man, I would have to say they will unveil the system on Thursday as well as games. But as far as 2 systems, I don't think they're gonna have, like, my idea was gonna be a media center. I think the Xbox One kind of proved that people don't care about the media center, and times had changed a lot from 2013, where we like the all-in-one box. Where now, I mean, pretty much almost everything is streaming now. You got a lot of people cutting the cord and cutting cable and satellite now. So I don't think that that's gonna happen anymore, or ever, honestly. So, but I would like to have 2 SKUs, and just for the space, because right now on my PlayStation 4, I'm already tapping out. I got a terabyte inside the system that I upgraded to a few years ago, and I got a 500 gig hard drive connected to it, and I'm starting to tap those out already. And then we got, you got The Last of Us 2 coming out, and as of this morning, it's been confirmed the space is going to have at least 78 gigabytes worth of space it will take up. So, yes, you will have to make sure you clear out the space to play The Last of Us. We don't know how much the Ghost of Tsushima is going to come out with. We still got at least another month and a half before we see that game. And let me read the comments here. 16 gig probably can upgrade to 32. I don't think you can upgrade there because it's usually a closed system, so it's not like the PC in that process. But I'm going to get to a point with the SSD right now. I know a lot of people, because I like to watch technical stuff, and I always watch technical stuff, and I'm geeking out over stuff, and I know it's hard for a lot of people to follow some of the other stuff. So I'll get to that point in a minute, though, Eric. Kevin, has PS ever done 2 SKUs before? Yes, they have. Perfect example. Right now with the PS4, you got the PS Slim, and then you have the PlayStation Pro. So let's go to that page, because you do have the 2 PlayStations. Actually, let me type it up. PlayStation. Then we'll search on their page, go to hardware. You can see right here, you got the PS4, you got the PS Pro. So you have your standard PlayStation, which is the PlayStation Slim, actually. So of course I got the OG PlayStation, which is the launch one. This is like the second iteration, and then you got the PS4 Pro. So those are technically 2 SKUs, technically right there. So yes, you do have that. So to say it's not outside the realm for them to do 2 SKUs, at least for space. And also note, for the PS3, they actually did 2 SKUs too. They had the 20 gigabyte PlayStation 3, and then they had the 60 gigabyte PlayStation 3, which the 20 gig, I believe, if I remember correctly, came out at $500, and then the 60 gig came out as $600, which is crazy. And let me go to the comments here. We got a lot of comments. I appreciate all the action, guys. I really do. This is my first video, live video, and the interaction is good, guys. Just keep it up. Do they always release the Pro or Slim afterwards? Kevin, yes. Every system that they released since I've known from the PS1 up, they have released a Slim. It usually comes like at least a couple of years afterwards, but they have always released a slim version of their system. The PlayStation 3 had two slim versions, so they had like what I like to call slim and slimmer. So, but usually me, I always like the first gen. It's something like when I look at my PlayStation, like I still even got my PS3 hooked up. Like, it's just something about the design usually of the original system that is so great and so sexy. Minus the original PlayStation. I think the first PlayStation looked like crap, honestly, but is this something what Sony does with their system? Because Sony, they're a lot of function, but they're also a lot of form too with that function. But I like to get the original systems personally, because to me they always look the best. Let me see, do they always release or on launch? PS5 looks dope. What would you say about the X series versus the PS5? I'm actually, Mark, going to do I want to do another video on that for another day. Everybody knows me personally. I'm not a huge Xbox gamer, but I do enjoy it. I almost did buy the 360. I almost did buy a year ago the One, actually. Because I am a huge Microsoft fan. But as far as the gaming system, I always kind of lean towards Sony. But as far, just a quick note about the Xbox Series X, I think what they're doing is a dope job. I know there's a lot of talk between more powerful, stuff like that. Sony and Microsoft are doing two separate things with their consoles. Like, their basic architecture is going to be the same. The coding, which they use in C++ and C++, is going to be identical, so it's going to be a lot easier to port games over and stuff like that. Easy to develop for, because C+ is widely used. But I think what Microsoft is doing, minus the disastrous third-party event that they sold last month, I think they're doing it, man. I really like the design. I know a lot of people is pointing fun at the design, but I kind of like it. It's like a slim PC tower, and that's just kind of the focus that Microsoft is having for their thing, because everybody has to know, Microsoft is a software company first. They're not a gaming company first. They're not a hardware company first. With the Xbox and the Surface lines, yes, they've been becoming a lot more hardware centric, but still, Microsoft sells software first. So if they're making hardware with it, it's because the software is going to support it. So you have to look. I always tell people, like even before this, you have to look at how these people or these developers are making these systems. Microsoft's going to focus on software. PlayStation is going to focus on making sure the system shows the best possible display possible. They're going to focus on hardware a lot. Nintendo's a gaming company. It is flat out fun, casual gaming company. Period. So, just to go on, how I view everything, but I really do think that Microsoft is doing a lot of good stuff with the Xbox Series X. I think this is where they're going to finally kind of get it point, because even with the 360, I know the 360 was popular, but I don't feel like they really got it with the 360, I think they're starting to get it with this. They're starting to get more first-party studios, which to me is crucial, because allegedly Bungie was a first-party studio, but I think there was more of a second-party. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. I've been watching like a lot of videos online, but I'm not sure if Microsoft ever truly bought Bungie. I think there was more like a second party where Microsoft owned the IP, which is Halo, and then Bungie was just kind of had an exclusive deal with them. I do like what they're doing now. Going back to the power issue, this one's more powerful. This is how I see the Xbox Series X versus the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 is your new mid-engine Corvette. The Xbox Series X is your big, powerful, dually freaking Chevy Silverado. One system's going to be able to go really fast. The other system's going to have a lot of potential for a lot of computational force on it. The biggest differences as far as processing is concerned is going to be with the GPU on each system. The PlayStation 5 is going to have about 38 compute units, and the Xbox Series X is going to have 52. So you have a few more cores there. But here's the thing with gaming, because it's kind of like Pro Audio, and I also do Pro Audio. A lot of gaming and stuff like that really focuses on single core processing, single core performance. and usually that has to do a lot with clock speed. So that's why you see like Intel's people like, oh, AMD, get AMD because it's so much more faster. But then you see in a lot of games will actually favor more of Intel processors still. That's because of their single core performance. That's the same thing that we have to realize with gaming, because everybody just pointing to the powerful, oh, this is more powerful than the PlayStation ever going to be. That's not necessarily true. They're just taking a different stab at it. The GPU on the PlayStation is going to be clocked a lot higher. I believe it was clocked at 2.2 gigahertz for the PlayStation 4 versus the 1.8 on the Xbox Series X. You know, and of course you got to take thermals and stuff into that. And they also said that PlayStation 5 is going to be running on boost mode all the time. And AMD has new technology, which is going to call Smart Shift, where they can allocate more power between the CPU and the GPU depending on what needs what the most. So that's going to also play a big factor in everything. So that's how I see it. I see, you know, the Xbox as that big powerful truck with a lot of torque in it, and then I see the PlayStation as a lot of horsepower. It's going to be your sports car. That's how I really see the two systems. Let me see. Let me read some more comments. This is already going like not how I planned today, but it's great because you guys comments are awesome. Let me see. Silma something neither of us know about. I'm getting there. I'm getting slimmer. I am getting slimmer. You know, I got to work on it. Doctor says I got to lose a lot of pounds, so I've been getting my sexy back. You know, of course I always got the baby face, so you know. But anyway, this is a family show, so we're gonna stick with the family show. Mark saying interchangeable graphics cards and RAMs, my guy. Oh yeah, you guys know I'm a huge computer guy. My computer is completely custom built. I'll probably post some pictures. I might have some pictures on here. I don't remember, but I'll post some more pictures. I actually upgraded, did a small upgrade to my CPU a few months ago because I'm not sure, because I want to completely upgrade my computer because I originally built it in 2013. And I started off with quad core with SMT, which is simultaneous multi-thread or hyper-threading, what Intel like to call it. So it started off 4 cores. Now I got 6 cores. So I just did that little upgrade because I might wait another year before I fully upgrade to what I really want. And my next computing system is going to be powerful and very, very expensive. It's not going to be cheap whatsoever. I mean, it's going to be into the... I mean, this machine was about... I think I spent about $3,200 when it's all said and done on everything that's in my computer now, maybe. So yeah, the next one's probably going to be more expensive than that. I'm already putting it together. I might go with AMD for my next processor. I don't know yet. I kind of want to see what Intel have. I am going with more workstation / server grade parts. So those are always a little bit more expensive, but I need the power. You know, especially I'm going to start doing more of this stuff. I need to do rendering. I'm doing a lot of music again. So yeah, I'm going to need a powerful computer. Mike, what's up, bro? Long time no see, buddy. Yeah, so anyway, you know, let's get back at topic. Thank you guys for supporting me already. I mean, I wasn't expecting this. I really do appreciate it, guys. So let's go down. Let me see what else. Media Center, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go to the new article. So in the new article, which this is, I got a more finished thing. I'll try to release it tonight. So basically, a couple of cool things on it is that you know, obviously it's going to be a lot more powerful. It's going to use the APU, which means the CPU, the processor, and the graphics processors together in one unit, and the I/O. Going towards the RAM, when I was talking about the RAM, and I know Eric was kind of mentioning some of this. So here's the thing with the RAM. You have to look at what Sony is doing with their SSD. The SSD that Sony has decided to make for the PlayStation 5 is second to none, no matter what platform you are. You can have the most powerful PC, and the SSD is still not going to be as powerful as what Sony's putting in the PS5. I mean, this is something that I absolutely was not expecting whatsoever with the PS5. Because I knew we was going to get SSD. To me, SSD was going to be a given for these next generation systems. The hard drive is just so slow. Hard drives are slow, you know, and we're starting to come to the point where, you know, hard drives are cheap now, and I mean, for storage space, they're amazing. I have 3 hard drives in my server here. I got them Western Digital Reds. So I got 4 terabytes. I got 4 terabytes. So, you know, that's great for the cause and using it for a server, for backup, and I'm also using it for some media stuff. Even though I think I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of SSDs and RAID 0 for my Plex server on there. But I mean, what Sony is doing with the SSD on the PlayStation 5 is bananas. First off, it's looking like it's going to have a killer architecture. So, how can I explain this in people terms? So you have your memory chips, and then you have your controller. The controller is basically what connects to the interface of your system. That's going to be basically using the PCIe 4 technology, as well as the Xbox Series X and the Series S. I don't care what anybody said. We're going to see a Series X, I think, next month in July. That's what Microsoft is going to be unveiling, and I'm putting my money on that. There's going to be 2 SKUs definitely for the Xbox. If it comes at launch, I'm not sure, but I highly believe we're going to see 2 different SKUs for the Xbox. But going back, the crazy thing about the PlayStation is that they basically have like 12 channels for the SSD. And the SSD is so fast, in fact, they say it can start rivaling RAM. And you know, in your system, the fastest connection to your processor is through the RAM. It provides the most bandwidth and is going to give you the most performance out of anything else in the system. Hard drives are typically slow, just like, disk drives and stuff like that. So basically, to put it in perspective, your hard drive is going to be reading about, I believe, 10 megabytes per second or something like that. Your SSDs nowadays can run about 2 gigabytes per second. The PlayStation is going to be about 5.5 uncompressed. And uncompressed meaning that it doesn't use no compression scheme or nothing like that. The Xbox, in theory, I think it's going to use between 2.5 and 3.5. Here's the advantage of having a super fast SSD, what Sony's doing. You're going to be able to directly stream the content from the SSD. And no, this wasn't just putting the SSD together. And actually, I'll go back to my big screen right now. I got to get a little shortcut key or something. You can, stream now from hard drives. So it's called RAM disk. So you can kind of stream that stuff. But it's slow. It's very, very slow. With the PlayStation, that's not going to be an issue because basically it's going to be able to stream, I should say, because it's going to work as a streaming thing. So basically, imagine your storage unit, your SSD working like RAM. That's how Sony's marketing it. I'm not sure how many developers are going to take advantage of that. I can guarantee you the first party is going to take care of that. Polyphony Studios, Naughty Dog, Santa Monica Studios, Guerrilla Games. They just bought Insomniac. Was it last year? I think they bought Insomniac. Those games are going to take advantage of that SSD to the fullest. And I think the Epic demo last month sold a lot and presented a lot, because when you have to load, basically you see a lot of games where it's like a lot of winding roads and stuff like that, and that's or elevators, or like in Spider-Man you have the subway scene. Those are made because it's loading content from the hard drive. You're not going to be seeing that, depending on developers, you're not going to see that with the PlayStation 5. It's going to be able to load a whole scene within a fraction of a second. We will not even notice it. So you can save that RAM space for other stuff. You don't have to use that RAM. You don't have to just load everything from the SSD directly to RAM on the PlayStation 5. You can just stream that directly. And then what Sony said, they didn't just work with the SSD. They had to work on everything else in between there with the I/O, within the software, the kernel stacks, everything like that. Like everything in between there, they had to work with it. So much the I/O, I think, on the PlayStation has 2 different units, additional 2 different processors just for the SSD. Like, that's insane. And this is the stuff I always tell people why I like the Sony system versus the Microsoft and Nintendo system a little bit more, because usually they do something innovative. And if I'm paying my $500 or $600 to get this gaming system, like, I want stuff, like, and this is going to be able to enable the developers to do a lot more stuff with the games. Like, we're not going to really see load times on this game system, guys, to be honest with you. And even for the stuff that we do see load times on, I mean, it's not going to be much, honestly. I mean, we might see a load time if you hook up a PS4 game to it, because that's how it's made. It wasn't made for the PS5. But, yeah. Let me see, read the comments here. Whether threading on AMD is better than Intel's. Mark, I agree with that. Multi-thread. If you got stuff that's multi-threaded, yes, AMD is a lot better. Let me see. Eric he says computer won't boot up without RAM. Yeah, it's not going to boot up without RAM. But that's not the point. The point I'm making is that you can now stream stuff from the SSD directly where you don't have to load the content into RAM. Of course, the PlayStation got RAM. The PlayStation got 16 gigabytes of RAM. Just like the Xbox Series X is going to have 16 gigabytes. But the whole point is what happens when you fill up that 16 gigabytes? You know what I'm saying? You have to realize this is the stuff that the developers have to think about when they're producing the games. Okay, I got to get rid of that. And note, because of how the hard drive is and stuff like that, like according to some of the short cases, like some scenes, just take Spider-Man, for example. They said some of the places where they have like a mailbox, that mailbox is on the disc 3 or 4 times. The same mailbox, the same area is on the disc 3 or 4 times. That's taking up space. And the bigger we get with textures and the better looking games we got, those textures takes up a lot more space. So imagine replicating some of these cities, these environments, characters 4 times over. That takes up a lot of extra space on your hard drive and your disk. You know, like The Last of Us 2. There's going to be 2 Blu-rays with The Last of Us 2, guys. Like, it's going to be across 2 Blu-rays. It's going to be at least 78 gigabytes. I mean, I know a couple of people that I talk to always complaining about this is, you know, I got Gran Turismo Sport. Gran Turismo Sport takes about over 110 gigabytes. Freaking Call of Duty takes, and I got the game too. So if you just got Warzone, get the game, because I know a lot of people complain, oh, Warzone takes a lot. Get the game. The game I got, that's 140 gigabytes it takes on my hard drive space. So that's a lot of space, and it's going to get worse. The PlayStation 4 discs, the Blu-rays, is going to be about 100 gigabytes these discs. That's not to say that every developer is going to use up 100 gigabytes, but there's a potential that a lot more space is going to be used, especially with the better graphics. You know, again, textures. You know, all that stuff takes up space. You know, that it comes at a cost. We want these beautiful looking games, we want these big, lush environments, but that's going to come at the cost of hard drive space. You know, because I'm gonna be real with you, I really do pray and hope that Sony comes out at launch a 2 terabyte version. And I know it's gonna be about $600 to $650. I'm gonna pay for it because just on my PlayStation 4 now, I'm running out of space. I got 1.5 hooked up to my PlayStation. I'm running out of space again. You know, and yeah, I can delete more games, but then there's some games I might not play for a month and decide to play. I don't want to have to wait 5 hours to download it and install. You know, so you know, I think it's going to be a huge advantage with this next generation system, and especially in the case of the PlayStation 5, that we're going to have that fast SSD where it's going to just allow the developers to do so much. I cannot wait to see what these developers do with these new systems, especially the PlayStation 5 and with that SSD. Like you already heard, you know, Tim Sweeney, the head of Epic Games, went on there and said, hey, this is a game changer. Like the SSD that Sony made into this system is a game changer. Like, this is almost going back to the days with the PS3 where, yeah, okay, it was expensive, but they did stuff that didn't just change gaming. They did stuff that changed our lives for today. How many Blu-ray players do we have today? You know what I'm saying? How many, you know, multi-core processors do we have today? We have to think about all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that system changed technology across the board. You know, they did supercomputing. There was people that was buying the PlayStation 3 for supercomputing. Like, who does that, you know? Like, bro, everybody has to remember, these games, you almost have to put the gaming system like race cars. Like, these are the model for what's going to trickle down to everybody else in multiple industries, you know? It's not just for the, you know, race car stuff is not just for race cars. They actually, you know, research and develop these parts all the time that's going to, you know, have a consumer version of them eventually for a lot of stuff, you know? It's basically a test ground. And I think, you know, especially in the case of the PlayStation the PlayStation SSD is going to be just that. It's going to be the blueprint for what we're going to get with our PCs, with our future gaming systems, cell phones, whatever in the future. Like, this is the blueprint. Sony is saying, hey, it starts with us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited to see that because, I mean, technically, you're going to have, it's not just, you know, especially for the SSD that they're going to have in it, you're not just going to have the 16 gigabytes of RAM space. You're going to have a whole terabyte more. So you're going to have a terabyte and 16 freaking gigabytes worth of freaking space, basically. Not that, you know, they're going to use all that, but You know, you have all that power that's going to be available with you. And I really, 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 really think that's going to be freaking awesome, man. Like, I mean, you know, bravo Sony. So, let's see what else I'll put on here. Oh, I definitely want to get to this. A couple things. Really, really touch real quick on 4K and 8K. Don't expect 8K. Yes, the systems, you know, all the systems are going to be able to do 8K. We're not going to see 8K for a long time, guys. Maybe not till we probably won't even start seeing 8K support until near when the PS6 is going to come out in the next Xbox. We're barely using 4K now, you know, so 4K is where we're going to be at, and that's where I, you know, suspect everybody to have. So as far as the TVs, I know some people ask me, you know, well, is it going to be compatible with the TV? Short answer, yes, it's going to be compatible with any TV that's out there that has an HDMI port, basically. It just depends on what kind of performance you want. Let me see let me read the comments real quick. I wonder, oh yeah, Eric, so yeah, that's how it works. Is this, you know, it's basically just going to stream the data, just like it's going to work like RAM. You know, that's how the new SSD is going to work with the PlayStation. It's just like RAM. It's going to just stream it, you know. And the cool thing about the architecture that I like, and you know, of course, this was in conjunction with AMD too. So also give AMD really, really props. I mean, I didn't even look at AMD products before, and I mean, you know, as soon as Dr. Lisa Su, let me put some respect on her name, Dr. Lisa Su. Ever since she took over AMD, I mean, God, like, you know, this is why we do need a few more females in positions of power, man. Like, you know, at least the good ones, you know. Like, she has really, really turned AMD around, and they're becoming a powerhouse. I mean, this is going to be the second generation where they're going to be providing chips for these new gaming systems. So, you know, Lisa Su and team, like, you know, congrats. Like, you guys are really doing it. It's going to be awesome. So anyway, going back, 4K, of course, we're going to have ray tracing. So ray tracing has a lot to deal with lightning and stuff like that. So you want to have that. TV's HDR. If you don't have HDR in your 4K TV, you might as well not have a 4K TV. HDR is a game changer. What's going to really, really start mattering is what we know as the HDMI 2.1 spec. So I know a lot of people get the HDMI and it's like a USB cord plugging in, but there's a lot of stuff going on with that. So the cool thing with HDMI 2.1, you can do 4K. They saying about 4K at about 120 frames per second, or hertz is what they call it on the TV world. So they can do 120 hertz. So basically, for those of you that don't know, the more frames you get, the better the game runs. Basically, the easier it is to move and stuff like that. Like, the more frames, the better. A lot of the games that we have currently, you have most of them that's probably doing 30 hertz, and then you have probably your premium ones that will push it to 60. If we can start getting games at 120, especially like first-person shooters, like this is the biggest argument that PC gamers will have versus game system users, is that they can do those hertz. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get that with this game system, but you have to make sure you have the right equipment. The HDMI 2.1 spec, you're going to have to get new equipment. Like, there's no way to get around that, you know. So basically, if you have your TV now, I'm not saying you have to change your TV, especially if you just got a TV. A lot of people don't, I don't want to buy a new TV. You can still use it, but to get some of the benefits of what these new game systems are going to offer, I mean, it's a cost, man. Like PC gamers, those fools. I mean, some of their like the graphics cards on some of these things is $1,000. You know what I'm saying? By itself. You know, people complain about paying for a game system for $500, $600. They got graphics cards that's literally like $1,400-$1,500 just for a single graphics card, and you still got to connect that up to a powerful enough computer to run that, which is probably going to cost you another $2,000 to $3,000. You know what I'm saying? So, and they have to upgrade their monitors and stuff like that too. Cabling, DisplayPort is kind of slowly taking over that market a lot with the monitors with PC. They can already do 4K on that stuff. So this is why HDMI is big, because it's more for the living room and it's more for these new game systems. The biggest problem, I see your question, Kevin. I will get to that backwards compatibility in a minute. So yes and no about backwards compatibility. And we don't know what they're going to unveil on Thursday. So I'm going to get to that topic in a minute. But going back, HDMI 2.1 spec. So there's a few things that it will do. So the biggest thing is going to be VRR, which is variable refresh rate. So what that stands for, basically, when you plug in and then you play games and it seems like it's kind of like almost like jittery, like it's tearing when you're moving through, and it's like lines and stuff like that. It's like kind of nasty. That has to do with the unit that's distributing the video and the monitor not talking to each other properly, or basically not syncing up with the hertz or frames. So that's how you get those little weird artifacts, sometimes those tearing effects. VRR is supposed to fix that. So what VRR does is that it will communicate with the monitor or your TV, whatever you have, and it will sync up those frame rates. So if for those of you, especially on the the PC gamer side, will know, there's a couple of technologies that does that for computers. You have FreeSync, and then you have NVIDIA G-Sync. So those two technologies has VRR, and those will sync the monitors with the graphics card to make sure they sync up so they can eliminate all that. So that's the thing that HDMI 2.1 is supposed to be with the game systems. You're also going to have stuff like dynamic HDR. So dynamic HDR, so it will be able to more dynamically control lighting within the TV, basically, people's terms. You're going to have eARC, so eARC or audio return channel. So like basically, if you have like a soundbar or a receiver, an audio receiver or a preamp, you connect it through the HDMI. It can pass, so like say if you connect your PlayStation or your Xbox to your TV, it can pass down the audio signal from the TV to the receiver without you having to go directly to the receiver. Right now it's limited to 7.1 channels. With eARC, it'll be able to allow like 3D audio or Dolby Atmos, basically fully supported on that. So that's kind of the biggest thing with eARC. It'll be able to pass the source content from the TV to the audio receiver. With eARC. Let me drink some water. I'm talking a lot. My throat's getting sore. Oh, good thing I got some water. So, hey Mike, how you doing? Is it June 4th yet? Take my money. I'm with you, Kevin, and I barely got enough with this COVID stuff and all these furloughs and stuff. Like, shoot, I need to get some more money in, man. But I got the credit card. Trust me, if it's possible, I don't think this is going to happen. But say if Sony announces the price on the PlayStation 5 this Thursday, they're going to make the pre-orders available pretty much soon after that. I doubt that they're going to release it this week, maybe next week, but if they announce the price, the pre-order is going to come. And yes, my Amazon card is ready. I've been paying it off. It's almost down to zero, I think, now. So I'll be ready. Eric, how's that Gran Turismo? Gran Turismo Sport is amazing. And especially if you play it with VR. So I have my little VR headset, which I'm going to actually get to this with the PS5 too. So play it with the VR. Every mode doesn't have VR on it, sadly. But, I mean, you play it. I got the steering wheel. You guys can't see it. It's right over here, though. You can see the shifter right there. So I still have it hooked up because I was playing it. But the steering wheel and the VR together, with surround sound, bro. Like, bro. Yeah. Only if you knew. But yeah, we're talking about that. I probably will actually touch about more games. And you guys let me know what you guys want to see on my channel, and it's not going to be just limited to gaming. We're going to be looking at all kind of tech, like computer technology, TV technology, automobile technology, all that stuff. Maybe even some science technology. It's open, but we will talk about a lot of gaming on here. So if you guys would like to see stuff, like let me know. Also let me know how my voice and stuff sounds, because I'll watch some of this back as we go. But yeah, just let me know what you guys like to see. If there's a topic that's interesting, I might do something for it, So, I'm pre-ordering ASAP before all the bots steal them. Yeah, as soon as you hear that pre-order, you better pre-order. you know, the COVID, even though they're saying production is still good, COVID is going to affect some stuff, guys. COVID is affecting a lot of stuff. I will still believe they're going to have a lot of systems available because from what I'm hearing, they're already manufacturing the PlayStation 5 as we speak. They are starting manufacturing this week. So, and that's why I strongly believe they're going to show off the system this week too, because if you release a system, somebody's going to leak it, man. You're going to have a factory worker that's going to get all giddy about it and post it on social media. You know, unfortunately, we're in the Insta famous period, and somebody's going to end up leaking that thing. So Sony's going to post it. They got to, man. And it's June. This is the same thing they did with the PS4. I don't know why people are complaining, oh, why they sold controllers first. It's the same thing they did with the PS4, man. They sold the controller first, and then they sold the system in June. Same exact thing. This is Sony, guys. Sony did stuff differently, you know? So, but, yeah. We definitely should, you know, get on that pre-order, man. Like, definitely. So, oops, I clicked on the wrong link over here. So, it's the same thing they did with the PS4. Mute that. I'm working 2 different computers, so I can see all your text and stuff. I'm going to have to figure out something. I need some more space. I need a new place. I need some more room, especially because I'm left-handed. I got my Surface on my right, so it's kind of uncomfortable. Can you dub Morgan Freeman over your voice? Maybe I will. Shoot. Okay, cool. Let's go on. I know we're already going longer than I wanted to go. I got to cook dinner tonight. Let me see. PlayStation have more horsepower. Let me go to this next scene. So, and why is this like this? This should be like that. So, so I've talked about the SSD. So we got on that already. What else do we got? GPU. Went over that. Just overseeing. Make sure I touched all these points already. We got with the 8K. Yeah, we're not seeing 8K, guys. Not that I don't even want to see 8K TVs already costing like what $5,000, $6,000, like, you know, and it's not, you don't really have no content for 8K right now, you know. Everybody's still they barely making 4K, you know. So we went over the terabyte thing, controllers, powerful PCI 4, and I'll post this article later, guys. Okay. Oh, the Tempest engine. Okay. This is something that I am very, very, very excited for. So basically, you know, Mark Cerny, doing his deep dive, had talked about the Tempest audio engine. So here's the thing that he was saying that was the difference within, you know, the PS4 and the PS3. You know, I understand a lot of people complained about the price of the PS3, but everybody did not know how essential that the PS3 was to processing. Basically, one thing that Cerny had touched on during his press, and one thing he really, really wanted to do, he said he said we failed at audio on the PS4, you know, and I still think the audio is good, but he said as far as from a developer standpoint and from a architectural standpoint, we did not do that good on the PS4 with audio. I'm an audio guy, you know. I know a lot of people know me, you know, for cars. But then there's a lot of people that knows me from my pro audio days. I used to do recording engineering, tracking, live sound, voiceovers, stuff like that. I produce. You know, you see my nice keyboard I got right here. My nice Nectar Panorama P5 right there that I love. I might have to do a demo for you guys on my other pages. But I'm an audio guy. I love audio. I have surround sound, you know. Like, I play with it every day. Audio is so essential to real life. Like, even back then when we didn't have audio, like you had those little silent films, they was playing piano in the background. You have to have audio in your life, you know, for the exception, you know, for, you know, if you're deaf. I do have a deaf brother, and man, I wish he can experience some of the stuff I can experience with audio, man. But basically Mark Cerny wanted to change how they did audio. So basically they said that they took 2 extra cores, basically from the that's made from the GPU, and they're using that just for audio, and it's going to be a lot more powerful than what we currently have. So especially for, you know, all my friends in here, you know, when we go to the movie theaters, and I like to always go to Atmos because you got the speakers above you too. How can I explain? I'm trying to explain some stuff as people terms. the audio, when you're dealing with audio, when you're mixing with audio. So most of the time, for especially for music, you usually just have left and right speaker. You know, you don't have nothing else but left and right speaker. For movies and films and stuff like that, you would have up to 7 speakers. So that means you have your front speaker, left, right, rear left, rear right, and then you have your sub, which is the 0.1. So if you see 5.1 or 7.1, that's the 0.1 is the subwoofer. Sometimes you might have a 7.1, which adds 2 more back speakers. So you have 2 speakers like in the back and then 2 speakers on the side. And I'm getting sweaty, and that's unattractive, I guess. But you have your speakers on the, basically 4 speakers in the back, and then your 4 up front, basically 7.1. So you got 8 speakers. And then we start going to Atmos. So you got 7.1 or 5.1, 0.2, or 0.4. When you see those extra points after the initial point, that's the ceiling speakers. Basically, as far as a mixing standpoint for audio, we have to mix to those speakers, So we kind of have to mix between, we have to mix between the left and center speaker. You have to mix between the front left speaker and the rear left speaker, or if I want to do something diagonal, you got to mix for the speakers. You always have to mix towards the speakers. With 3D audio and Dolby Atmos, it eliminates all that speaker junk. It does more positioning. So instead of being locked down to a speaker, it positions you within a space where it doesn't matter how many speakers you have. You can scale up and down the speakers as much as you like. It's all about positioning when you're dealing with the 3D audio stuff. And then also he talked a lot, and actually it touched on this on my MECP certification for working on cars and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I'm getting this right. HRTF. Did I write that in here? I think, which is your okay, I'm gonna look it up. So Tempest audio. Now actually let me share the screen with you guys so we can look it up together. Audio PS5. So basically you have what's called head transfer. So basically if you see like the crevices of your ears and stuff like that, all of our ears are built different. So we might perceive audio very, very different from person to person. So the cool thing with the Tempest audio stuff, HRTF. That's what it is, HRTF. So basically, if I hear a sound right here, you might hear that sound a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? It might sound like it's coming like right here. And all of us have different profiles on how we perceive that audio, So that was the biggest thing they were saying on is doing with the 3D audio for this Tempest engine, for this custom sound that Sony's producing, is that there's going to be different profiles, and I think they're going to make it to where we can produce like how we perceive this audio too, so we can submit it to them. They can make a profile off of it. So I'm not going to get too technical with that because that's over a lot of people's head that's probably watching this video, and it's a very technical showcase. I think he spent like 10 minutes on that just alone, honestly, if I remember correctly. But basically, audio, especially if you're on headphones, sound bars that does virtual sound and like a full like kind of like a Dolby Atmos like setup, it's going to be a joy to play those games because you're going to be hearing audio from everywhere possibly, depending on how the developers make the game. So especially, and I really think they're making this a lot for VR, because they said with the VR, because the VR actually has a processor in it, they can hear do over 50 sounds. They said the Tempest engine in the PS5 is going to do hundreds. I repeat, hundreds. You see it right here in English. The Tempest engine would support hundreds of sound sources, meaning that the sounds can appear from 100 different directions in the game. Can you guys imagine if Activision makes a Call of Duty game that's in VR that uses this Tempest engine to the fullest? You marching through rain in the mud, you know what I'm saying? And you can basically hear the rain coming from above and dropping on the ground. Like, how amazing will that be, dude? Like, we're not even talking about gaming no more. We're talking about an experience. We're talking about immersion, You're not talking about gaming no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it's gaming, but we're not talking about gaming no more. We're talking about the full experience. Like, imagine playing Gran Turismo, and hearing the freaking car, hit the wall and turn and parts flying all over the place. Like, dude, like this is the stuff that like I really, really can't wait to see what this system does. Like I really can't wait to see what Sony has in store for us, So, like that Tempest engine, especially for me, being an audio guy in, the consumer market and the pro market, like I really, really can't wait to see what this thing does. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so happy that they got Mark Cerny. Like Mark Cerny is really doing this thing with the PS5, So, let's read on. Let's see what else I was talking about on here. Or actually, let me read the chats. How you guys doing? Let me see. We go to chats. The PS3 had one of the first Blu-rays. It was the best Blu-ray player on the market at the time. Honestly, the PS3, even in some cases over the PS4, is still a superior Blu-ray player. If you guys remember around that time, and see, that's why I don't like when people. And let me actually touch on the price a little bit. And or actually, you know what? I'm gonna go later on. Because I got a thing on pricing. But when people complain about price, though, remember Blu-ray was just coming out around that time. Sony was losing no less than $300 on each system because it had that much new technology in it, guys. The Blu-ray player alone, okay, PlayStation 3, the more expensive SKU was $600, right? The Blu-ray drive alone to produce at the time was $300 just to make it, guys. Not making money off of it, just to make the drive was $300 by itself. That's over half of the cost of the PS3. Over half. Just for the Blu-ray drive. That's not including the GPU, the CPU, the RAM, storage. You know what I'm saying? All the transistors they got to put in there, power supply, HDMI ports, controllers. Like, just the Blu-ray drive alone cost $300 to manufacture for the PS3. Like, come on. But I'll go back more to that later. Let me see. The Blu-ray player was fast. Yes, it was very fast. I had a standalone Blu-ray player, and then when I got a PS3, it was a big difference. Yeah, and see, here's the thing that you guys got to remember too, and this goes true for Netflix and stuff. Like, I don't understand why people have multiple Chromecast and Roku sticks and stuff like that. Just run it off the PlayStation. You got a freaking computer in that system that's going to run better than any Roku stick or better Chromecast than you buy. Maybe if it has exclusive content on those, okay, I understand it. But if you look, and including starting with the PS3, the PS3 had the SPU, which was the small cores, and then you had a PPE unit, which was the engine, which was the main processing on it. So you had all this processing power, and you try to run a Netflix on there, or you try to run a Blu-ray on it, it's going to run that much better than even a $1,000 Blu-ray player, just for the simple fact it has more processing power. It's a computer. It has more processing power inside of it. You cannot get any better than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot tell me that a Blu-ray player with a $30 processor in it is better than a $200 processor that I get on a computer. Come on, So, that's that. So let me see what else. So we go to Tempest engine. So we touched on that. Good headphones. Yeah, make sure you got some good headphones. I think some of the Sony $100 headphones will do good. Some of the Turtle Beaches. I think some of the Astros will work pretty good still, because the cool thing is that with the headphone technology, they simulate to a point where it will just do it in the headphones. Because the headphones is the most perfect way of getting sound left and right, and they can trick it to where you can hear sounds where it's coming like up and down. So that's the cool thing about the headphones. VR, and there's a couple of points I want to touch with the VR. So the first rumor that I want to say with VR is that with the VR on the PS4, you have a breakout box. So on the breakout box, you're essentially adding about 4 extra cables, because you got the cable from the headset, from the VR unit. So you got that cable, which is really 2 cables, because you got an HDMI and a control/power port on there. So you got those 2 cables. You got a USB going from the processing unit to the PlayStation. You got two HDMI's, one going from the PlayStation, going to two from the PlayStation, and one going to the TV, and then you have the power supply. And then note, you also got to add the camera, the PlayStation camera to it. So you have a whole bunch of extra stuff in it. The rumor that I'm hearing is that the VR box is going to be built into the PS5. Whether that's true or not, hopefully we'll find out this Thursday. But I'm hearing that that will be integrated. So imagine saving all those cables, you know, and only having to connect the VR directly to the system. That's going to be awesome, and that will save a lot on my space because I'm already loaded on space. I still got I have every PlayStation that launched minus the PlayStation TV, guys. I'm talking about 1 through 4, and including both portable systems. I actually got my Vita right here on top of my desk. I actually still play my Vita. I've been playing. I'm actually thinking about buying a bigger memory card. I'm trying to find one for cheap. Everybody trying to get me, but I've been playing Jak and Daxter. Going back playing Jak and Daxter. One of my favorite games ever made. Love that game. So, love my Vita, man. I really wish. Well, let me correct that. The Vita is not that popular over here in the United States. Japan, the Vita is huge, and they still selling stuff. They're still making games for the Vita in Japan. The Vita is huge in Japan, guys. Like, to me, the Vita was an excellent system. It's just that everybody got the, you know, cell phones and playing Angry Birds. Like, oh, this is better than the Vita. Nah, you know. But that's not here or there. But anyway, going back to the VR. You know, if the box is going to be made into the PlayStation 5, that will save you a lot of space on your desk or your, you know, entertainment system, and it simplifies a lot of stuff. I'm not sure what they're going to do a VR 2. I'll probably do another video on that, but you definitely, you know, like, that will just help out so much with organizing cables and stuff like that, to have that breakout box in, and that's going to reflect again on the price, and I'll get to that near the end of this, you know. So thanks for hanging with me, guys, too. We've been on here. Eric. Oh, Eric, you played that Jak and Daxter? Yeah, Jak and Daxter, man. I love Jak and Daxter. Was one of my favorite games, and I really love, like. And I'll actually watch. I might post it on my page. I watched where who was it? I can't think of his name. He was one of the founders of Naughty Dog. I think it was Jason Rubin. He went on IGN, and he was just saying that these games was built to go up to games like Uncharted and The Last of Us for Naughty Dog, like Crash Bandicoot and Jak and Daxter. Like, those games was the precursor for these games, and if you played the storyline through Jak and Daxter, it was such a great storyline for a platformer, you know, because, you know, the first game is like, you know, chill and fun and cartoony and this and that and the other, and then the second game, it just started getting dark. Like, it's like, oh my God, like, you know, it was like the classic case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, that was Jak 2. Like, I love that game. That's one of my, I would say I don't think people really respect that game as they should. Like, Jak 2 especially was one of the best games. I'll even go as far as saying it was probably one of the best platformers that anybody has ever made. To me, that killed the game. So yes, Jak and Daxter, love it. I have Dexter on the PSP. That don't play because the battery busted or something. But yeah. Like, Jak and Daxter, I love that series. Like, one of the best games I ever played. You know, hopefully they'll do a remake or something like that one day. But yeah. So, the new controller, the DualSense. Let me pull up the picture on the DualSense. I really love the way this controller looks. So, a lot of people say it looks like the Xbox controller. I don't really think so, and I can do like a side by side. Where's my? Oh, maybe I got off of it. Actually, it should be on the PlayStation blog. I got so much stuff on these screens. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So I really love the look of the controller. So I initially thought that the controller was going to be fully black, and Sony just flipped the game. Like, no, we're gonna make it, you know, dual color. I really like it, dude. Oh, I gotta flip my screen over so you guys can see it. So, and why is this not going to? Let me do that one. Okay, so, like, I really do love the look of the controller. I mean, just the way it's shaped. I mean, I guess it kind of resembles the Xbox controller, we can pull up the Xbox controller right here real quick. Let me go games, or actually probably consoles, right? Probably go consoles because it'll solve the controller. So let's pull up the new control. Where's my Series X? Where's my Series X? Where's my Series X, Microsoft? It should show the Series X somewhere. They already changed the site. Where did they move it to? We'll just pull up games or Xbox Series X controller. Let's do that. Make it easier, right? So here's the Series X controller. And then let's pull up the PlayStation controller. Let me just put it in its own window so we can see it side by side. I guess okay, I can kind of see the shape. Okay, I can kind of see the shape a little bit. I can see the shape a little bit. But like if you look at the top, like right here, you see how much like more prominent that is versus this. This is like a little bit more slimmer. And then I kind of don't like these Xbox controllers because it feels like, is it so slim? Actually, this is the Xbox One controller. But I guess we can compare it. It's almost the same anyway. But because the new controller is going to have the share button right there. But a little bit of semblance. But you know, of course, I like the joysticks down at the bottom by your thumbs because your thumbs are together. And then the cool thing I like to do with the game. So let me pull up the big screen. So if I have my controller, so I kind of like where the joysticks are right here, right? Because basically what I do, like say like, and I'll do this in Call of Duty a lot of times where I might have to do a flagging right here, and I'll move my thumb right here, right? So I have this finger on the D-pad, but I can still reach my left joystick right there. With the Xbox Series X or any Xbox controller, that's minus the first one that I love. To me, the first controller that looked like the Dreamcast controller, I love that one. That was the best Xbox controller ever to me. But you know, the new ones I don't like it because it feels small. I always hit the freaking option button on it, and I don't know, it just feels small. It's like kind of you know, yeah. But with this, you can see I do this a lot in Call of Duty. I have some functions on this on the D-pad that I'll get to, and I'm still moving my character with my right thumb onto my left stick, so I can still move it around. It's harder for me to do that on the Xbox because I'll have to reach up here. You know what I'm saying? That's why people argue. That's one of the main reasons why I like them kind of being symmetrical with each other. You know, so that's why. Let me see. Read the comments. Damn, that controller looks sexy. I think it's more sleek than the Xbox controller. Xbox is bulkier. Actually, I heard that the PlayStation, the DualSense controller is going to be bigger because you know the PlayStation, it's almost the same size as the Xbox. I think they're kind of can be close to as far as the same realm. But I heard the DualSense is going to be actually a little bit bigger, but it's going to be they scoped it so good where it's going to actually feel like a smaller controller. But in theory, it's going to be a bigger controller, actually, So, take that as you may. Hopefully we can get our hands on it soon, and we'll go from there. But, yeah, hopefully we'll do good on that. Because they got me excited. I was just so happy they announced the event. Like, I'm calm now. Like, I'm just so happy they announced the event. But anyway, going back to the controller. This controller is going to have a lot of stuff in it. And this is another thing, because like I see a lot of Xbox, gamers and say that, we're cool with the controller. They didn't need much, so the controller on the Xbox Series X is going to be cool. And honestly, I agree with them, because like I've always loved the DualShock, and especially when the DualShock 4 came out. I mean, the biggest thing for me with the DualShock 4 versus the DualShock 3 was the joysticks. The joysticks on the DualShock 4 just feels right. You know what I'm saying? It's just there, So I agree with them. it's a good controller. Why fix what is broke? You know, me, I would like the controller to just be bigger because of my finger, or at least the button placement to be a little bit more spread out. That's a me thing because I got long hands. I'm 6'5", so I'm a little bit bigger than most people. So, but the PlayStation for like a bigger gamer's hands, like even like just holding it, like ripping it right there. Like you see, I wish I had I used to have an Xbox controller. I sold it a long time ago. Yeah, it's just like just that right there, like just holding the controller, like is a lot better for my hands. Like the Xbox, I kind of feel like I'm like this. It's just, to me, it's just a better feeling controller. But if everybody's happy with the Xbox controller, yeah, why fix what's not broken, you know? So I agree with them on that. But Sony, of course, says this is not enough. So there's a few things that they did with the controllers. Of course, it's not called the DualShock, it's called the DualSense. The biggest reason for that, because inside the controllers, you're going to have two motors on it. On this side, you're going to have a bigger motor, and this side, you're going to have a smaller motor. So I'm not sure if they did this for licensing reasons, but they switched out the motors for haptic feedback. So if you don't know what haptic feedback is, just think about rumbling on your phone vibrating. That's haptic feedback. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be multiple haptic feedback motors inside of the PlayStation controller. And they're saying that haptic feedback is going to be so good that you're going to be able to feel the different surfaces that you're on. Whether that's true or not, I think that's kind of a stretch. I won't say it will be that good, you know, but, you know, we'll see. I mean, with haptic feedback, you can control a lot more of how stuff vibrates and stuff like that than you can with the two motors that's inside the PlayStation 5 PlayStation 4 controllers and all the previous DualShock. So I can kind of see that, but I'm not sure if it's going to be necessarily where, oh, I can tell the difference between walking on mud and concrete. But who knows? We'll see. But, you know, nevertheless, that's a cool feature. You know, they found an opportunity to use something that's going to be potentially better, potentially makes the experience a lot better. I'm all for it. What else did I put on here? So I put, for starters, they replaced the motors. This game far-fetched, yeah. Okay, adaptive triggers. I am really happy, especially with games like Gran Turismo. I have to play with. I did not play because like my old wheel didn't work with Gran Turismo Sport, so I didn't play Gran Turismo Sport for actually a year or so because I was trying to play with the controller. My old steering wheel wasn't compatible with Gran Turismo Sport, so I had to actually not play it because I try to play with the controller. And me, I'm a driver. Everybody, if you drove with me, you know how I drive. I drive like I'm a freaking speed racer or something, trying to hit the corners right and stuff like that, trying to get my timing, trying to beat the corner. So, you know, I can't play that game without the wheel. So that's why I got the Logitech G29 wheel, which is nothing short of amazing. But anyway, but like games like Horizon. So if you look at the rear triggers, and let me just hit it right here. So you see how the rear triggers are kind of like shaped differently. They're a little bit longer, you know. So with the PS5, so like say if you're pulling a bow and arrow, right? So right here I can just press down, right? No resistance. But on the DualSense, it's going to start tensioning up for the bow. And as I, you know, pull it more, so like say if I'm playing Horizon where Alloy uses that bow, it's going to start tensioning up, and it's going to put some resistance right there. So I'm going to be like, you know, you might even be struggling with it a little bit from what I'm hearing. So I think that's a great feature. It is not like the Xbox One. A lot of people try to say it's like the Xbox One controller. No. What they did was they put vibration motors inside of those back two buttons. It's not going to be the same as the triggers that's going to be into the PS5, the adaptive triggers in the PS5 controller. So if you hear anybody say that, you know, correct them. The Xbox One used motors. They did not use adaptive triggers. So there's a difference. The share button. So on the controller right here, we have the share button. So I use the share button especially a lot now. You know, whenever I win in Call of Duty, because it's harder, we're in a Warzone. And Kevin plays with me a lot on Warzone, so everybody knows how happy we are to win. So I use that a lot for screenshots and videos. The share button, from what I'm hearing, is going to do a lot more than that. So from what I'm hearing from the share button, from some developer standpoint, you're going to be able to create content with that share button from the game itself. and possibly even stream, like stream 2 people or stuff. Rumors, I'm not saying it's real, but maybe you can put 2 people on the stream, stuff like that. And there's a lot more stuff I'm hearing that we don't know about the share button that they're gonna do. So we don't know that much about the share button right now, but they say it's gonna be able to do a lot of stuff. So let's move over to the next page here. Yeah, so you'll probably be able to take advantage of it. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong thing. Dual 6, here we go. Microphone array. So the cool thing about the controller is that it's going to have the microphone array on it. So on the PlayStation, the DualShock 4, we do have a speaker on it, and then we have this extension / headphone port. I don't think that headphone port or the extension port is going to be no more. It's going to be just the headphone. So the extension is going to go bye-bye, and we're just going to have the headphone. It is going to have 4 microphones built into the controller, though, for the DualSense. So, and primarily that because it has noise cancellation in it, so you can be able to talk and give commands to it. Another rumor that I'm hearing is that that Sony's going to revamp, or they have revamped, we just don't know. They have revamped the voice commands on the PS5 from the PS4. So the voice commands on the PS5 is going to be a lot better than what was on the PS4, and they're going to use the controller as a, statement for that. I also can see developers doing a lot of stuff with that microphone. Like, one thing I loved about, for those of you that remember the game SOCOM Navy SEALs on the PS2, the one thing I really, really loved, that was one of the first online games I played, and that was the game where it came with the headset. So the cool thing when you're playing on the campaign mode, the single player mode onto SOCOM, is that you can actually give commands through the headset to your team, because it was, AI team. So you can tell them to flank left or flank right through the headset. We don't really have too many games like that. And that to me is a great experience, especially with this VR stuff starting to come up. And VR is going to be big. If you guys don't think, and I'm not just talking about the PlayStation, you got the Oculus Rift, you got the Vive. So dude, they're doing a lot. And actually, Jason Rubin, who used to make the Naughty Dog games like Jack and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot, he's actually the head of the Oculus team for Facebook, because Facebook owns Oculus. So he's one of the heads, at least, for gaming platforms for the Oculus. So VR is going to be a big deal. And imagine me, playing a game where I can give commands to my team through the controller. I don't always have to wear a headset. I can just give it through my controller. That's going to be a game changer right there. So, I mean, just like alone, you can see where I'm going with the stuff and where I'm going to get with the pricing and stuff like that. And then I just think, I think Kevin mentioned on here, that controller is sexy, man. Like, everybody knows me, I love black, but damn, that two-tone just looks sexy. And then what they did with the whole touchpad and the LEDs around the touchpad, and we don't have that big bar, which a lot of people don't like no more, so they got rid of that big old bar. And then we got a USB-C port right there, which I love. I think every product now should be USB-C. We should not be seeing no other USBs no more. USB-C, you don't have to worry about the direction you plug it in. You just plug it in. These USB Type C ports are capable up to 100 watts charging. Like they use it to charge Apple laptops, guys. Like USB-C is a big deal, But you see the light bar, like the light bar goes in here. It's a lot smaller. It's not like the whole thing. Oops, I'm not even on the screen. I'm so sorry, guys. I gotta get the little button so I can do this faster. But yeah. So you got the USB Type C port right there. You got the adapter triggers right there. Let me blow that up. So yeah, man. I mean, damn, look at that control. Look how the textures on the joysticks are gonna be. Like, that's gonna prevent people that has like a lot sweaty hands. So I mean, this thing is gonna be amazing, man. Like, it really is. It really, really is gonna be that good. Look at that. Headphone port. Or actually, look at it. That don't look like a headphone port. Is that the microphone port? That might be the microphone port. We'll have to see. It kind of do, but it kind of doesn't. It looks almost like it's more like a rectangle. We'll have to see. But yeah, man, like that right there. I mean, that's the bee's knees right there, man. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, go back to the article. I know I'm already going longer than what I should be right now. A lot longer than what I should be. Appreciate you guys still interacting. Let me read the comments real quick. I think it's more sleek than the X. Oh yeah, I went over that. Feel attention to the bow and the recoil of the sniper rifle. Yeah, yeah. Like, and yeah, that's another thing they mentioned too with the gun. So I'm hoping the Activision and their developers like put that tension on the guns, because I love guns too. So it's like if they put the tensioning on the guns through these, man. Anyway, let me see, and we're almost done too. So, oh yeah, more battery life. So we should be getting longer than 8 to 10 hours battery life. So they're saying about 15 to 20 is what we should be expecting from the new controllers, from what I'm hearing from the rumors. So 15 to 20 hours I'm hearing, guys. So you don't have to worry about your controller dying too fast, which I don't really have a problem with. Because it depends on what game I'm playing and how many times I'm pushing the button, but it lasts between that like 10 hours usually. So okay. So that's the hardware. The cost. This is actually a big subject I want to get over. I know stuff is expensive, guys. I know a lot of people like, oh, $600 for a gaming system is not too much. This is where I say, and I know people want backwards compatibility and stuff. Like I think Kevin, was it Kevin or Eric or one of you guys had mentioned backwards compatibility. This is where I start talking about price, and I actually sided with Sony more on this. We complain about $600 being a lot. How many times have we bought a $1,000 cell phone? Most iPhones starts at no less than $600. You know what I'm saying? The iPhone X is $1,000 minimum. That's base cost without nothing. The Notes, the Samsung Notes, the Samsung S20 now is what they call the new phones. Some of the Hawaii phones, the Google phones, $600, $1,000, $1,500. We're putting these on our credit cards real quick. Oh, let me give you my money. I'll go into a payment plan, and guess what? I might upgrade that phone within a year. So guess what? I just bought another $1,300 phone, and I got to pay this off now. You know what I'm saying? I paid $300 or $300 to however much to break the contract out of this phone, because it's still on contract, unless you have like one of those, we'll just transfer over, you give us the old phone type thing. Like, we're buying $1,000 phones. How you gonna complain about a $500 system? Especially, I don't honestly, even if the PlayStation, I don't think it's gonna be $600, but say the PlayStation 5 come out at $600, people start complaining. I'm gonna start checking some of those people. The first thing I'm gonna say is, what phone do you have? And when the last time you changed your phone? I know people that might buy a phone within 3 or 4 months and paying full price for them. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I need my phone. You don't need a smartphone. You know what I'm saying? You do not need a smartphone to talk on the phone or even text. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got a lot of other stuff. I love my smartphones, but let's be realistic. Smartphones to me is kind of overpriced. And this is why, they said 5. Honestly, if you ask me how much the PlayStation 5, how much I think the PlayStation 5 is going to be, I would have to say $550. I think that's a great price point when you consider all the features, all the new technology they put in it with the controller. They're probably going to have a HDMI cable in the box. They're probably going to have a headset in the box. They're probably going to give you some freebies at that. $550 is where I'm expecting it to be. But even at $600, it's not that bad of a freaking deal, bro. Like, this system's going to be with you for about 5 to 10 years. Like divide that. That's why I always go, like, when I'm selling stuff from when I'm working in the car stuff, and people are like, oh, how much does that cost? I always bring up their cell phone, and I always justify the price. I've had maybe one person like, well, blah, blah, blah. No, I've always was able to justify the price after I talk about the cell phone. Your cell phone cost keeps on rising. You have to pay your cell phone bill every month. You're going to get a new cell phone next month. And guess what? You got to pay an Activision fee for the new cell phone. That's another $15 to $30 depending on your carrier. And that's just for somebody pressing a button to activate your new phone. Why do we have to pay $15 for somebody pressing a button? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. I don't want to hear about a $600 price point where we're paying for $1,500 phones and buying it every single year. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. $1,000 iPhone. Yes, $1,000 iPhone. You know, if you're not buying the iPhone SE, or if you're buying it, put it this way: if you're buying the phones brand new, especially the premier phones, which is going to be Samsung and iPhones, you're paying $1,000. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh well, I don't have to pay that up front. Well, think about it. You have to pay taxes on your phone, right? Your taxes on your phone usually is about $100, $110, right? Or let's say between $90 to $110. How much is 10% of $1,000? Guys, stuff is expensive. I get it, you know, and we have other expenses to pay, but you know, we pay a lot for entertainment. If you take a trip, you go to Italy. How much does Italy cost? You know, thousands. And people are like, well, you know, I'd rather go for a vacation than, you know, buy a game system. But guess what? If I go on a vacation, that's only for maybe a few days to a week. What I'm gonna do for the rest of the the 12 months out the year, you know? So to me, it's not a big deal because I can go to that game system. It's my full entertainment hub. My PlayStation 4 does everything: Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu Plus, ESPN Plus. You know what I'm saying? YouTube. You know, stream sometimes, games, movies, Blu-rays. So it's a good value. It does everything. You know, you don't even really need a smart TV. Like, to me, if you got a gaming system, I don't even use the smart features of smart TV. My TV is a great TV. It's a Sony 40 inch. But it's not a smart TV. It just shows me a great picture. And honestly, at the end of the day, that's all I want. Because I got my PlayStation, I got my DirecTV. Why do I need a smart TV for? Between those two, I can do everything I want. I don't even need a smart TV. Honestly, I wish they will offer, TV manufacturers like Sony, Samsung, LG, the other ones I can't think of right now. I wish they would make a monitor-only version of the TVs. I don't need the smart features on the TVs. I just want the TV. And if I can get rid of the smart TV function, I can save some money. You know, I'd rather put that more for the quality of everything else. And my systems can, just be the smart TV, make my TV smart TV. So, I do think the PlayStation 5 is going to cost between $500 to $550. I would say the controllers will probably cost about $70. Games will start off about $65 still, I think. I think that's pretty much standard now. So, yeah, that's the price. Oh, I didn't touch on backwards compatibility. Yeah, backwards compatibility. I'm sorry. So backwards compatibility, the PlayStation 5 will be 100% backwards compatible with every PS4 games out there in the market, or just about all of them. And why I say just about all of them for backwards compatibility is that here's the thing, and PC gamers like to poke fun, but they don't need to be poking fun too, because I'm about to say something that's going to be real. In order to do backwards compatibility on a new system costs a lot of money. And it extends from just the hardware piece of it, because everybody think, oh, they'll put a chip in it or something like that, and it'll be done. No. When you're making software for a particular platform, and then you have a new platform come out, it doesn't always 100% work, because you're making it for a certain platform, and then you got a new platform. Guess what? You have to spend development money into making sure that all those old games are now compatible with the new system. So now, a lot of PC games like, oh, we don't have that problem. Really? So you're telling me every PC game from Microsoft XP all the way now to Windows 10 is 100% compatible. Every single game that's ever been made for the PC works? No, it does not. Heck, you got some games that you can get, two different graphics cards. You can get one from AMD and one from NVIDIA, and they'll be about the same specs. And then a handful of games play better on the NVIDIA cards, and a handful of games play better on the AMD cards. Like, come on. Like, PC have their problems more than anybody, because it's one system that has to always account for the lowest common denominator. At least the cool thing with what Sony already is doing, and this is what I love, and what the new boss of Sony PlayStation is doing, Jim Ryan, he's saying, hey, yeah, of course we care about our PlayStation 4 system, but hey, we're going PS5. Like, we're not going to do like Xbox doing with the, oh, you got to make the games for both systems. No, new games got to be made for the PS5. You know what I'm saying? So that's mainly what the backwards compatibility for. Now, as far as PS1 through PS3 games, I don't know. they can take, if they're going to do it, they can take 2 cents on it, because they got PlayStation now, which is kind of like their streaming service, which does have a lot of PS1, PS2, and PS3 games on it, and then you have the a lot of developers will make reissue it for the newer system, so you do have that too. But if they do like true backwards compatibility, it's either going to be through software emulation, which is what Microsoft does with the Xbox. They do software emulation. So that's why when you can't play every game, you can only play the games that's on the list. That's because it's through software. It's harder to do backwards compatibility through software from a direct disk, because honestly, it has to be almost completely recoded, because it's an emulator. And then you have the hardware version, which is what the PS3 did initially with the PS2 and the PS1, where there's a chip on it. But even those, if there's one game that breaks, guess what? The developers got to do work on that. And I can tell you, most of the developers, like I've actually seen a couple of videos recently with developers, they don't want to go back and work on those old games. They want to work on new stuff. So to go back and have to make sure the old games are compatible with the new system is actually a big waste of money financially for them. And they actually possibly could take a loss, because you're not buying a new version of that game either. So I understand people want to save money and stuff like that, and they don't want to have all the systems hooked up on once and stuff, but it's just like, understand it from the development standpoint too. Like, yeah, it might cost us a couple of extra $100 more, but it's costing them up to millions more to do some of this stuff. Gaming is big business now. It's a multi-billion-dollar business now, guys. So, even like a week wasted on something is too much, so that's what backwards compatibility is. It'll be nice to have backwards compatibility, PS1 through PS3 on the PS5, but honestly, my PS3 does all the systems already that is between there. So I got that, and of course the PS5 is going to play PS4 at least. There might still be a possibility that Sony will go ahead and say, hey, bam, all the PS1 through PS3 games going to be compatible with PS5, and everybody will freak out and cheer, And honestly, backwards compatibility is only going to last for a year or two, because everybody's going to start playing new games after that. That's only to start playing your current library on the new system. Yes, you get some upscaling and stuff like that, but it does take time and money for that too. So when people is complaining about the prices, we have to put all this stuff in perspective. It does cost, and us as consumers, we have to decide: do we want to pay less money? Then guess what? We're going to not have as many features, or we want more features, we got to pay more money. You can't have both, like this engineer came to one of my classes when I was doing recording classes. He like, you have time, you have money, and then you have like labor. You can't get all three at once. You can only get 2 of the 3. So you have to pick your 2 of the 3, So same thing in this case. We can't have it both ways, guys. We're either going to spend less money and not have like stuff like backwards compatibility, or we're going to spend more money and then have backwards compatibility and, enough money for them to start, going back to these old games and spending resources to make sure those games are compatible with the PS5. And Sony is, Jim Ryan, I think, announced it, is that starting in July, every PS4 game that is being made will have to also be compatible with PS5. So they have to make sure that the PS4 games can run off PS4 and PS5. So that will hopefully help out. They already said the Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2 will be 100% compatible with the PS5 running from day one. So you can take your PS4 disc, or your hard disk in that case too, and plug it into the PS5 and be able to run that game. So that's that. So and I think that's it. We pretty much come to the end of it. Jesus, I've been on here a long time, almost 2 hours. I was only deciding maybe 45 minutes. So any questions anybody have? I know the video I'm watching on the laptop is still going. So that's that. Let me see where we at. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, okay. We're about 10 seconds. Anybody else got some questions? Anything? Of course, this video is going to be up, and you guys can hit me up anytime. I'll leave it a couple more minutes before I log off. But I am really, really excited for this generation, especially with the PlayStation. I cannot wait to see what the 4th of so. Oh, a side note. Sega is planning something huge. They are having a huge article coming out on Thursday also. So be looking out for that, and I'll be commenting on the Xbox too. I mean on Sega too. I've heard some rumors that Microsoft has bought Sega, and Sega's going to be a first party for the Xbox. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm also hearing it could be like a Steam type situation where they're releasing an online service for all the games. I don't know which one's going to be true, but we'll find out once the story hits on Thursday. So we got a lot of gaming stuff on Thursday, guys. June 4th. So anyway, I got to go cook, go get some dinner going. Thank you guys for interacting. I really appreciate the support. I'll try to do some more videos and stuff, some more articles. I'm gonna try to do some Xbox One soon. I'm trying to get some friends. They haven't responded to me yet, but some guys that plays on the Xbox more than me, so we can have their opinion too. So I'm gonna try to work it out for you guys. But anyway, thanks for joining my stream. I appreciate you guys. Love everybody. Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all stay healthy out there. Stay away from the violence. Peace and love for everybody. Late.